Evans. Welcome to your Friday math. So I hope you guys were able to enjoy some of the nice weather we've been having. I went out the other day on the patio and decided to do some work outside, and I already got a sunburn. And it's only May. So today we're going to do our first part is our review as always, and then we're going to go into our next step, which is using variables. And I'll explain what those are and how those work when we get there. So first of all, let's do our review. So we learned last time that in order to figure out what the blank is of a problem, we have to be able to 7 plus 8 is what? Well, 7, 8, 9, 10, blah, blah, blah. I go on to 15. So 7 plus 8 equals 15. So that means blank plus 5 must be equal to 15. And what is that? Well, I can take my 15 here, 15, and I can minus 5. That gives me 10. So therefore, that 10, I can plug it in right here. 10 plus 5 must be equal to 15. So if I have 15, 10 plus 5 equals 15, I know I'm correct. This one right here, I can do 12 minus 6 because I can't figure out this side of the blank. So 12 minus 6 is 6. Now I have 18 minus blank. How do I figure out what that is? Well, I know it has to equal 6. So what? So 18 minus something equals 6. How do I figure out what that is? Well, I can actually just take this 6, bring it over here, and just put it temporarily in place of the blank. It doesn't mean it's actually that blank is actually equal to 6. 18 minus 6 equals 12. So therefore, that blank number is 12. Because remember, if I do both sides, if I do 12 minus 6, this equals 6. It has to be the same as here. 18 minus 12 is 6. They have to be equal. All right. Today, we are going into variables. So far, we've been doing problems that have blanks. So we did 5 plus blank equals 13. And we figure out what that blank is. Here's the difference between blanks and variables. Blanks are blanks. They're just a line at the bottom of the page. Variables are a letter. But the process is the same. So the only difference now is instead of figuring out what fits in the spot of that blank, you're just figuring out what this letter here stands for. So doing 5 plus blank equals 13 is the same thing as doing 5 plus 8 equals 13. And that's the only difference, is that instead of a blank, you have a letter. And whenever we write our answer, we just write like A equals whatever. So let's figure that one out. 5 plus blank equals 13. So to do that, I can do 13 minus 5 equals 8. So I know 5 plus 8 equals 13. This is the same thing. All I do is take 13 minus 5, like I did up here, equals 8. Therefore, A is equal to 8. So instead of having a blank, you just have a letter. So let's do a couple examples where we have letters instead of blanks. And remember, it can be different letters. So sometimes you might have an A, you have a B, C, whatever. It could be any letter of the alphabet. However, the process is the same regardless of the letter. So let's try doing 18 minus C equals 7. We need to figure out what C is equal to. To do that, remember for subtraction, we take our 18 and we're just going to switch the spots of C and 7. So I'm just going to do 18 minus 7 because they're going to switch spots equals C. So what you're doing there is you're basically just isolating your variable. What I mean by that is on the one side of the equal sign is just a variable by itself, is the letter by itself, and on the other side is the numbers. The reason we do that is because it makes it much easier to solve, because instead of having to go in my head, 18 does minus 5 equal 7? Oh, no. Minus 6? No. Minus 8? No. That could take forever. It's more time than it's worth. Why not just make it simpler by just moving this number over here and moving C over here? So therefore, I just do 18 minus 7, and that equals C. Remember, for addition, you do the opposite. You do subtraction. For subtraction, it usually just stays subtraction. So I don't want to complicate this. I don't want to make it confusing for you. It's really the same thing as when you have a blank and you're just figuring out what that number for the blank is. But now you just have a letter instead of a blank. So 18 minus 7 is 11. So therefore, C equals 11. All right, let's do one more example. So today we're just going to be doing addition and subtraction with variables before, and then later on we'll go into things like multiplication and division. However, for now, just today, addition and subtraction. So let's do 17 plus S is equal to, let's see, 17 plus is equal to 33. How do we figure out what S is? Well, I'm going to try to put this S by itself. How can I do it? Well, I can just keep 17 over here. And what we're going to do, actually, sorry, scratch that, to actually make it a little bit easier. We're going to keep S where it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 17 and move it over here. However, remember when I have addition, you do the opposite. You have to subtract. It's going to become 33 minus 17 instead of plus. So I just get rid of that plus sign and it becomes the opposite. So now I have S equals 33 minus 17. So S is equal to 33 minus 17 is equal to equal to 16. S equals 16. And there you have it. So that's what you're going to be doing today. You're going to have a bunch of questions based off of problems that use variables. So they're just going to have letters of them, and you're just trying to figure out what those letters are. Is S equal to 5? Is G equal to 6? And blah, blah, blah. Sometimes, though, you'll see two separate problems. It might be like this one here. We had 17 plus S equals 33. You might see another problem like this is question 1. Let's say question 2 is 5 plus S is equal to 8. Just letting you know that these can change, as in they might be the same letters, but the number that they're worth, as in what they're equal to, can be different. So in this case, we know S was equal to 16. 5 plus S equals 8. It means 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. So you see how they are worth different amounts. They can change amounts depending on the question. However, if they're in the same question, well, you don't have to worry about that, but if they're separate questions, sometimes the same letter is used again. They're worth different amounts. It doesn't mean like, oh, it's the same amount. They can be worth different amounts. But that's it. I hope you guys have a fantastic Friday and a fantastic weekend. Hope you get to enjoy some of the nice weather that we've been having and get to be outside a little bit, even if it's just for a few minutes and walking or doing something just to get outside. And honestly, I found like just being outside in some nice warm weather has really made me feel a lot better. So I hope the same thing is true for you as well. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday. And remember, if you have any questions, be sure to email me. Have a fantastic weekend.